Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a review and a mini demo tutorial of the new Rimmel Magnif'Eyeshadow. So they came up with a couple different eyeshadow palettes. The shade that I have is London Nudes Calling, because they were just calling to me. So I wanted to check it out. You can get this at Ulta for about like $8, so maybe $8 or less at like Target and Walmart. So I was super excited that Rimmel came out with this eyeshadow palette because it has so many different colors. And I have so many different things to tell you about this palette. Right off the bat, when first using it, I honestly was not a fan. I was like, I don't want to use this thing again. I just wasn't feeling it, but I thought about it and just kind of like using the different shades on my lid specifically, I kind of realized, okay, if you want this as like an all-in-one palette, this is my palette I'm going to take with me to travel, this is a palette I'm just going to use, you know, for every day, you're not going to be a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it because honestly, there's like how many shimmery shades? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There's 12 shimmery shades and 1 matte shade, and this is basically like what you would use on your lid or a brow bone just to kind of set your concealer. So I'm like, how am I supposed to transition? How am I supposed to get, you know, shades into the crease? You can do that with shimmery shades, but I've done it and I'm not a fan of it. So that's what kind of makes me dislike this palette. But I'm like, let's look at it kind of the other way. If I wanted to use this palette specifically, honestly, just for like maybe lid shades, I would approve it. Because these shades are all like a little bit more shimmery, but when kind of using them just on the lid, the pigmentation is actually really nice. And that's honestly all I would want to use these for, is just individual little lid shades. Maybe, you know, putting a lid shade and transitioning into a lighter lid shade, or like, you know, kind of doing the halo eye a little bit darker and then lighter and real nice, you know, highlight in the middle. Other than that, I'm not a fan of this palette as just like a whole palette on its own. Even in like the little demo tutorial that I did, I was like, how do I use this? Like, I was hating it. I was hating it up until I went to the lid shade. So I went in with, I don't even know if these have numbers. So I went in with this shade right here on the lid, and I was like, oh my god, that is gorgeous. Okay, that's why I can't totally discredit this palette. And then I went in with this pink one right in the center just to give it a little highlight. And I was like, okay, I do like it, but I don't, you know? So if honestly you just want like some nice shimmery shades to play on the lid, I would check it out if you want to just kind of mix it up. But this is definitely a palette where you have to bring in maybe like another matte palette. So combine this with some more matte shades and I think it'll be good. I think you actually will like it. Like, the pigmentation is pretty good. These colors over here, sometimes maybe like when swatching them, like I'm not the biggest fan of, but something just light kind of adding underneath the brow bone, they do have some pigmentation. And then once you kind of go down the spectrum, it gets a little bit better. I would say sometimes the blendability is a little bit inconsistent, but then again, I feel like if you're just gonna add these on the lid, there's not too much blending you have to do, just kind of blend all around the crease. But if you're using it as a palette on its own, so I kind of used this shade just kind of like in the outer, kind of building up a little bit darker. Not a fan of like the application and then blending with a fluffy brush. I'm not a fan of these with a fluffy brush. I like treating them as like, you know, your matte transition shades. And then going in with this dark shade, it did have a little bit more pigmentation, but then, I don't know, it's somewhere in between the blending and even underneath the eye. Got a little bit messy there, so depending on what you want to use it for, I would say pick it up or not. If you just want it as lid shades, I think these are really great. If not, you're really not going to like this palette. I don't know. It could just be me, but I would only pick this up as lid shades for myself. I've definitely, if they had some more, honestly, if they would have mixed in some matte shades, I think this palette would have been a really great, affordable $8 at the drugstore. I think they would have mixed in some really good quality matte shades to kind of use this palette as a whole. I think that would be great. But for $8, if you just want a couple of like shimmery lid shades, and then go pick up another affordable like matte palettes or some individual like matte colors, your usual like transition shades, then yeah, I think that would be a really good pair. It's not too bad for $8. You get like 8 different little shades to work with. That's just my opinion, of course. I know some other people have probably tried this palette. I'm curious to see what you guys think. If you have picked it up, how do you like it compared to like other drugstore eyeshadows? Like I've definitely had like some drugstore really affordable palettes that I really like. The Makeup Revolution palettes I think are really, really great. The Milani palettes are really, really amazing. So I was kind of hoping, you know, for Rimmel eyeshadow. But honestly, if I had just used it maybe like that first time or that second time, you know, try to use it as a whole, I really would have told you, don't buy this palette. But I had to think about it overall, and I was like, damn, but the lid shades are really nice. And using every single color as the lid shade, I think that is when it's kind of worth the money and worth getting. So let me know what you guys think. The tutorial will be starting after this. And PS, if the person like who's, oh my god, you talk so much. Did you read the title where it said review and demo? This is the review part. Just had to put that out there before somebody comments. Someone comment was like, oh my god, you talk so much. That's the review part. So now the demo part will be starting. I hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure to subscribe to keep up with some more videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, so I already primed my lids, and the first shade that I'm taking is that one and only a matte shade, and I was like, can I use this for my crease? But it's close to my skin tone, so I just decided to dust that and set my eyeshadow primer all around because it doesn't do me good for transition shades. So I actually took out my Wet n Wild Contour and Highlight palette, and I just decided to use that as my transition shade, just to, you know, kind of give the other colors something to help it blend, and just to add something to my crease, and just to kind of like give it a hint of something. I feel like that really helped out. So if you don't have another transition shade, use your contour shade or your bronzer. Then I'm going in with this like very light brown, and I was like, okay, let's add like another mini transition. This had a little bit more color, but it also is kind of on the shimmery side, so you kind of have to build it up a little bit and play with it, but it does, you know, kind of give you a similar effect. However, I do personally just wish and prefer that they did have some matte shades to really, really kind of give this palette and this eye look the most that it could give. But we're working with it, and we're doing what we can. If anything, I just kind of like dipped and re-dipped and just added and re-added that shade, and then just going in with that first brush and just blending it out. Here I'm going in with this kind of like copper color, and I'm going in with this Anastasia brush, and I'm using kind of like the pencil end of it just to kind of add placement to the color, but you know, kind of wish it wasn't shimmery so we can get a little bit more color there. But once again, just kind of adding and re-adding more and blending and adding, because it is shimmery shades, so they do blend differently than say matte shade would. So you just really have to kind of work with it if you do want this as an all-in-one palette, as I was saying earlier. But just kind of adding with that pointed side, and then I flip. This is the same brush. This is the ones that come in the Anastasia palettes, and just kind of blending that color out just to give it a little bit more depth to the overall look. I just kind of like to add a little bit, you know, transitions and things going on there. And then here I was like, okay, I need a little bit more. So just going back into that same color and adding and blending, and just, you know, this was kind of a process given that they were shimmery shades. Here I'm going with the pencil brush and this kind of like purple shade. It's a little bit darker. I feel like this one didn't have too many shimmers on it, so it did, you know, kind of come out a little bit more pigmented. But once again, not my favorite to kind of use. But hey, we're working with it. So this, I just wanted the very, very outer corner, just to kind of smoke out the overall look. And I just used a pencil brush once again for placement and pigmentation, and then going in with a clean fluffy, this is like a Morphe M433 brush, clean, just to kind of give it the cleanest kind of blend, and just so that all the colors don't kind of like mash together and look, you know, like muddy or anything in general. So that's, you know, what I like to do is use a precise pencil brush and then go in with an actual fluffy brush to blend that out. And then go in once more. I was here adding just a little bit more of that lightest brown shade just to kind of, you know, blend that in even more, and then going in with that same first one that I used with my contour, and just to further blend and blend and blend. But since these were shimmery, I would definitely say that this require a lot of blending. Here I'm going in with that kind of taupey shade. It's like a taupey purple in the MAC 242 brush, and I was actually really impressed with this as a lid shade. This is just the product, no like Fix Plus or anything. I just wanted you to see the color on its own, and I think it's really, really beautiful. This is what kind of changed my mind about the whole overall palette.
just using them on the lid, I feel like you really do get the most out of them. But I did go ahead and add some Fix Plus just to kind of intensify, but on its own, if you don't have Fix Plus, I think the colors are just as beautiful. I flipped that same brush and went in with that light pink, and I just kind of put this right in the center just to give the lid shade just an extra little pop, just some extra dimension. You could just use just that one color, but I always kind of like going in with kind of like a highlight shade to the lid. And then also just kind of flipping over and blending both of these colors together with the brush. And you can kind of go in and add the intensity as you please, because as you blend out you kind of lose a little bit. So just going in with a clean Morphe M433 and just like blending the top edge, just so that, you know, kind of have you don't have harsh lines or anything, and just a little bit more seamless. And with a clean brush, it's just a little bit easier. It just comes out a little bit cleaner. So if you have extra brushes, definitely try to do that, or just clean off a brush. And then here I'm just going in with a makeup wipe and cleaning off the edges. This is where I like to go in before makeup. Here I'm going in with that matte shade again, and I am just putting that underneath my brow bone, but I wanted a little bit more of intensity, so I actually went back in and took a shimmery shade, which it is shimmery, and added that underneath my brow bone as a highlight. But since we have like shimmer on the lid and then shimmer underneath the brow bone, I wanted to add a little bit in the inner corners as well, because I did like that placement in the inner corners just to help them pop and not look too dark. But then I went ahead and went in with my blending brush a little bit more of my bronzer contour shade, and really wanted to blend out that under eye highlight just so it wasn't too intense, and just blend everything together. So you can always do the under eye highlight first and then kind of blend, but either way, once I kind of used that lid shade and everything, I definitely did like the look a lot better. So I was like, ooh, I really can't say that I don't like this palette, because I do kind of like this look. I don't know. I just wish that they had matte colors. Hopefully the next palette they do add some matte colors. Then here, just actually going in and just blending some more, adding some more of that contour shade, just to kind of, you know, have that transition from light to like a little bit darker overall. Then I'm going in with this L'Oreal Smoldering Eye Pencil in black, and just adding that to my waterline. Since I do want more of a smokier look, you can add a white pencil. And, you know, if you want it, just the eyes to kind of pop a little bit more, but I wanted to go more on the smoky side, so I like to go ahead and add this first. And then I'm just going back in with that copper shade and that Sonia Kashuk pencil brush, and just adding this on the lower lash line just to kind of bring those colors, and, you know, just to do a nice little drop shadow. I like to have colors on my lower lash line. Not everybody, I just like to bring everything together. And then I'm just going to go in with that one bronzer color brush and just blending everything together. Then I'm going to take that dark purple shade and a flat shader brush just to kind of add more in like the outer third of my eye, not bring it all the way, and just adding, you know, just a little bit more intensity and some definition to that lower lash line. And then I'm just going to go back in with a pencil brush to further blend that out, just so it's not too harsh, but it's definition, if you get me. And that is a completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if this is something you're interested in, if you're purchasing, or if you're passing on this product. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.